At Jenner & Block, we put on a little breakfast a couple of months ago where several of our partners addressed the credit crisis, and there was a vice president of Huron Consulting at that conference, and his name was Joe Floyd. And Mr. Floyd raised a question which I think is directly on point, and something that you will hear something about both this morning and in the afternoon, because the answer to this question could very well affect the existence or not of insurance coverage. Mr. Floyd utilized recent examples of companies affected by the credit crisis to discuss whether the situation was the result of culpability or the confluence of market chaos. Did people do things that were wrong, or did we end up in a situation where there was irrational behavior, a collapse of the system, and systemic risk? While it seems that there were a number of market forces at play, he said, it is important in analytical assessment to gauge culpability and to identify compliance and valuation issues. Okay, that's basically where we are. Did we get here because of a systemic problem with the financial markets? Had they set themselves up, had they gone way too far on a limb in issuing auction rate securities, for instance, which itself has generated 150 cases, or collateralized debt obligations, or what we call credit default swaps. David Grace has actually done an entire conference about what all of those financial instruments mean, what they do, and why they were among the hottest commodities on Wall Street for many years. And now we know that trillions of dollars of these types of securities were created and sold throughout the world. Okay, did we go way out on a limb? Was that a systemic problem? Or is there significant culpability here? Was there intentional wrongdoing? Did the people who created these securities know that they were inherently flawed? Were these defective products, just to put it simply? Were these defective products, but were they created and marketed and sold with the knowledge that they really couldn't work the way they were intended to work? Okay, and the reason that's an important question is, number one, that will determine, for the most part, the existence or not of liability in some of the underlying cases, unless you're pursuing a cause of action that does not require the demonstration of intentional wrongdoing, of which there are many causes of action. And for the insurance context, it's particularly relevant because, as Walter will tell you, and as you'll hear from the speakers this afternoon, whether or not directors and officers liability coverage responds or errors and omissions liability coverage responds could turn on whether or not the losses for which coverage is being sought were the result of intentional wrongdoing, i.e., were they a result of actions that the person knew would result in a loss. Okay, that's different from merely selling a security intentionally, and I want to draw the distinction. Obviously, selling something is an intentional act. Creating a lawnmower is an intentional act, but whether you create a security or make a lawnmower knowing that the lawnmower's blade is going to fly off and kill someone, okay, that arguably can lead to a determination of intentional wrongdoing. So those determinations and those distinctions could very well determine the existence or not of insurance coverage.